We've made a lot of yarns in the US, and so at this point we like to think about what's something we haven't done yet. What's a combination of manufacturers we haven't tried before, or maybe set a challenge for ourselves to do something that we haven't done before. And we did achieve that with Imbue. Imbue is the first time we've made a worsted spun yarn that is finished as a heathered yarn. A heathered yarn is just a beautiful thing to behold. I think of them mimicking colors the way that we see them in nature. Anything is not a sort of a solid one color. There's always a little bit of variation and different colors coming together to make the color that our eye perceives. I've always been really drawn to heathered yarns and that method of developing a color palette and dyeing yarns this way. You know, we have a lot of heathered yarns that we've been working with over the years, woolen spun yarns, and this is the first time we've done a heathered yarn that is a worsted spun construction. So even though it has a similar look to some of our woolen spun heathered yarns, it has a very different performance in the hand. It feels very different and it makes very different fabric. So you get the kind of rustic, sentimental appeal of a heather, but you're getting that clean, very defined, springy, durable texture and fabric and hand that you get from a worsted spun yarn. So you're kind of combining the best of both worlds. We always start with fleece. What fleece do we use and why? Different wool breeds have different characteristics, and those characteristics, if we're doing our job well, are maintained from the very beginning of the process all the way to the finished yarn that the knitters get to use and make garments out of. We landed on a American Merino, a capital M Merino, pure Merino, no other breeds blended in with it. Merino is a incredibly soft fabric. It's a very dense fleece. It has a lot of crimp and spring built into it. It takes color really, really beautifully. Even though we wanted a soft yarn that was completely comfortable for next to skin wear, we also were thinking about that fiber choice as a way to get a really, really beautiful, rich heather that would look different than the heathered yarns that we have dyed on some less fine wool. The 5-ply construction has a couple benefits. One is the stitch definition and the crispness of the finished fabric, but it's also more durable, so even though you have a really soft fiber, you're not going to get as much pilling. The fabric's going to last longer and be durable, look cleaner over time than it would if we were having less plies or a less tight twist. So for Imbue, we did 20 base solids. We dyed 20 individual colors that are pretty bright and intense on their own. And from those 20 colors that were dyed as raw wool, they were stock dyed, we then created 12 colors to launch the palette, and those 12 colors are all drawing from this base of 20. I've really enjoyed knitting cables and texture with this yarn because it has such a round finish. It has a really nice stitch definition. It's very defined. It really just carves out these thicker braided cables and other textures that kind of ends with this kind of pillowy, doughy finish. And that's just really lovely to work in the hands, but it's also really nice to wear it in the end as well.